Hey, welcome back to the show. If you are a small business owner who has ever hired someone, felt really good about them in the interview, and then 3 months later thought, how did I not see this coming? This episode was created for you. Hiring is literally one of the most expensive decisions you'll make as a business owner. And I'm not just talking about salary. I'm talking about the time it takes to train them, the ripple effect on your other team members, your clients, and the possibility of opportunity loss for having the wrong person in a role while the right one is out there waiting. If you've been listening to me for a while, you already know my philosophy. Great leadership starts with values, but it is sustained through systems. Today, I'm breaking down 3 things you absolutely need to assess in every interview. And truthfully, most people either overlook them entirely or they don't know how to dig into them. The 3 things that we're going to be talking about is value alignment, the actual skills that matter for the role, and something I think that is massively underrated, and that's a growth mindset. And these 3 things are essential for small business owners. The first one is value alignment. All right, so I want to be clear. When I say value alignment, I'm not talking about whether someone seems nice or you get that warm and fuzzy feeling like, oh, I'd go out and grab lunch with them. This is about whether the things they fundamentally care about line up with your business, with what your business stands for. Think about it this way. If your business is built on transparency and honest communication with clients, and you hire someone who prefers to smooth things over and avoid hard conversations, you've got a mismatch. And this is a mismatch that could cost you substantially. It doesn't mean that they're a bad person. They're just wired differently than your culture requires. So how do you actually surface this in an interview? You want to make sure that you're asking situational questions, not yes and no questions, but open-end questions. So instead of asking, do you value honesty, which, come on, everybody is going to say yes, you can ask something like, tell me about a time you had to deliver bad news to a client or a colleague. What did you do? What did you say? And just sit back and listen for how they talk about it. Did they own it? Did they blame the situation on someone else? The answer itself tells you a lot, but their framing tells you even more. Another thing I'd recommend is to be upfront about your own values early in the conversation. Tell them what matters to your business. See how they respond. See their body language. Do they light up? Do they get quiet? Does it feel like you're describing something they've been looking for or something they've never thought about? This is important. In order to do this, you need to know your values. So I recommend that you write down what your values are, what's important to you and your business, so that you can be able to convey this information clearly to whoever it is that you're interviewing. And let me be clear, for me, this is not just about W-2 employees. This is about contractors as well. Think about it. If I'm hiring a virtual assistant, this is somebody that probably has their hands in most of my business. They're probably going to be communicating with clients or even meeting with clients or a part of calls. Or if I'm hiring a business coach, I want someone that values align with mine. That dictates how people show up. That is important in your business, especially a small business owner. I'm embedding this in the conversation regardless of whether I'm trying to hire them under a W 2 or I'm talking to them about rendering services and working with me. This is how important this is. Okay, number 2, skills. Now, you might be thinking that this is obvious, that, yeah, I ask about skills. But here's the thing. Most small business owners are checking for the wrong skills, or they're checking for skills in the wrong way. First things first, you want to get specific about what the role actually needs. Not what sounds good on a description. What does the person need to do on day 1 or day 30, day 90? Map that out before you have the conversation. Because if you're vague about it, you'll end up hiring someone who checks boxes on paper, but not necessarily execute what you actually need. Now, when you are having the discussion about skills, I want you to think about how you ask the question. So it's not just, again, it's not yes or no. Do you know social media? No. You want to specifically ask them about outcomes, about how they've done certain things, about how they would do certain things, and let them respond and give you the answer. You could also have them walk you through different scenarios. For instance, if you're hiring a social media manager, you can have them walk you through a specific client example of how they not only grew their social media following, but helped increase conversions, or how they determined what the best messaging was. Have them actually walk you through whatever it is that you're looking for, whatever skills you think that they should have in order to fulfill the role that you're hiring for. Get away from yes or no questions. Get away from talking too much and allow them to talk. Tell them what you need, ask for examples, and let them walk you through it. Now, the one I think gets the least attention from small business owners is a growth mindset. In a small business, things change fast. You don't have the luxury of like rigid org structures or an entire learning and development department to upskill your team. You need people who are wired to learn, to adapt quickly, and figure things out, because that's just the reality of the environment. A growth mindset person hears feedback and gets curious. A fixed mindset person hears feedback and gets defensive. One looks at a problem they've never solved before and sees it as a challenge. The other sees it as a threat. Here we go again. So how do you find this in the interview? You're going to ask questions around failure and learning. An example of this would be, tell me about a skill you had to develop that didn't come naturally to you. How did you approach it? Or what's something you got wrong in a previous role, and what did you take from it? What you want to hear is reflection. You want to hear ownership. You want to hear evidence that they actually change something based on what they learn. Red flags are deflection, excuses, blaming someone else, someone who can't name anything they've had to work hard to get better at, because that probably means they're not paying attention to their own growth. And honestly, hiring for growth mindset is a long game. These are the people who 2 years in are doing things you never would have predicted from their resume, and these are the people that you want on your team. When I tell people I have been working with a virtual assistant for almost all of my business, people don't believe it, right? And even in this time where automation and AI and all of these things are causing work to look different, she has been able to navigate through that and continue to grow. And those are the type of people that you want on your team. You don't want someone that maybe you start with them and you have them, say, manually doing filing, and now things are digital, things are online, and they can't adapt. You want people that is going to grow with the times, and they're going to grow with your business. So those are the three things that I would definitely make sure that you are looking for as you are looking to hire people on your team. Just a quick recap: the three things you need to be intentionally checking for in every interview and in every conversation, because even when you are looking for people to help you in your business as a contractor, you still want to make sure that you're looking for these things. The first one is value alignment. The second one is the specific skills the role actually demands, and growth mindset. None of these are complicated, but they all require you to slow down, be intentional, and design your interviews around what matter, not just wing it because someone seems personable in a room or because someone seems nice and you get along well with them. If this was helpful, I'd love for you to share it with another business owner who's in the middle of hiring or thinking about hiring. And if you've got a question about your specific hiring situation, drop it in the comments or reach out. I'd love to cover it in a future episode. I'll talk to you soon.